Hi, my name's Karla Mansur. I'm a divorce and family law attorney in Concord, Massachusetts. In my divorce practice, we often see some pretty unique things in a lot of ways, but in this video, we'll talk about some of the assets that we've seen that are fairly unique. In my experience, I've divided, things of no value, essentially couches, lamps, one time a baby outfit for the christening that they fought over. But some of the bigger things that we've had disagreements over would be jewelry. In a lot of cultures, jewelry is very important and is exchanged as part of the wedding and gifts, and it marks big significant events in the lives of the family. So that can be particularly complicated to figure out. I've divided sketches from Picasso. I've divided coin collections just recently. Another attorney that I'm working with is holding, the hundreds of thousands of dollars in gold and silver that somebody bought because they didn't want to invest their money in the market. So as part of our practice, there's a lot of unique things that are going on. We work very closely with a certain group of appraisers to help us figure out what the value of those assets are. Whether that's a business appraisal, or an appraisal of a private jet, which we're working on getting now, and the hangar it's housed in, to the Picasso, to the antique desk in the entryway. All of those things potentially have incredibly significant value, but a lot of times more importantly, they have significant emotional value, right? They were passed down from a family member. So that's a value that I can't necessarily quantify, but we work with a lot of experts to figure out, well, what is the fair market value of these assets and how do they factor into the overall division in the divorce? Because in Massachusetts, the law says everything either of you own is considered a marital asset. So everything is essentially subject to division. There are certain parameters we can use, certain factors to kind of pull things outside of the division of those things, but it's something that has to be considered, and you want to work with a knowledgeable divorce attorney that has those contacts so that you're getting a fair number, because that's also something that can be more complicated than it should. You could have two different appraisers and their values are different by, I've had them as much as $1 million, right? That shouldn't happen. The market should show what something's going to bear, but some people will hire appraisers that they know are going to give them a higher value or a lower value. All that really does is complicate the process further. So you want to make sure you're working with someone reputable, who's been to the courts, who's been in front of these judges before, can testify credibly, and are going to give you an accurate picture of what the value actually is.